Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Flagrant Talk Sports Podcast. I am Isaiah, and this is my favorite co-host, Moses Famino.
What's going on, everyone?
In this video, we are going to do a round robin of all of the major headlines across the NBA, NFL, NHL, and MLB. So there will be a little something for everybody today. A little something for everybody.
Little timestamps too, if you want to
Yes.
jump around.
Yeah,
We prefer if you listen to the whole thing,
of
but
course. Of course.
we'll timestamp it if you want to listen to
Yeah.
individual parts of the episode. So,
Of course. With that being said, our first headline of the day is the Denver Nuggets making the NBA Finals. Moses, give us your take on the Denver Nuggets and can they win the championship?
the Nuggets really surprised me.
Yeah.
We talked about we did our playoff predictions off camera before, and I had the Lakers beating the Nuggets in the
Me too.
Western Conference Finals in, I believe, 6 games. So
Mm-hmm.
I did not see a sweep either way. So that kind of blew my mind, man. They looked really good. I have said I can see them doing this because they have been hated on for years and rightfully so, for not doing anything. They haven't made
Mm-hmm.
it. They haven't made it deep in the playoffs, but they've had that chip on their shoulder for a while, and they finally decided to go and get it done. So they made it to the finals, and depending on who they get,
Mm-hmm.
I believe if they get the Heat, that the Nuggets will win the NBA championship. But if the Celtics can pull off that historic 3-0 comeback, I believe that the Nuggets will fall short in the NBA Finals. Unbiased opinion. So, what do you got for this take here?
So I think for me, the thing that solidified Denver as a legitimate contender was watching them play that Suns series. Obviously the Suns aren't deep. DeAndre Ayton looked really out of his depth. It was really bad basketball. Landale looked like a better center than him for the Suns. Like he looked like a better option than DeAndre Ayton. And on a team that lacked depth, you can't afford that. So I think the Suns, the way they won, definitely made me take notice of like, no, this is legit. This obviously them making the conference finals. Wow, breaking news, that team's good. But then to sweep the Lakers, kind of surprised me. I think the Nuggets have honestly looked like the best team in basketball since the Suns series. And this is where we see things a little different. I think regardless on who comes out of the East, the Nuggets will win a title this year. They're deep. Jokic is incredible. The best big man in the NBA. I'll just say that. Jamal Murray is playing on another level. He's playing great. He's running the team. He looks like Bubble Murray. He's been a great option for him. I think they have the depth, they have the coaching, and they have the star power, which is a necessity in the NBA Finals to get it done. I think they're obviously deeper than the Heat and have some more options if someone like Jokic does struggle in a game. And I think they're more consistent than the Celtics. So I think ultimately, regardless of who comes out of the East, my finals pick will be the Denver Nuggets.
Okay. I'm sorry. Did you say you think they have more depth than the Celtics, or more?
I think they're more consistent. I think they're deeper than the Heat.
Okay.
And the big thing with the Heat is they are an injury away from one, maybe losing to the Celtics, and two, honestly, just like you can't beat Denver. Even if you lose one of those role players, a Gabe Vincent, a Max Strus, a Caleb Martin,
right now,
who looks incredible. If you lose any of those guys after already losing Tyler Hero and Victor Oladipo, it's done. That's it. So I think for that reason, I think Denver has just looked more steady over the course of this postseason, I feel a little bit more confident in picking them to win the title. Not to say that the Heat or Celtics can't get it done, but that's how I feel about Denver.
Yeah. No, they look really good. Murray is playing out of his freaking mind. MPJ is playing great.
Great.
Bruce Brown's
Bruce,
hooping.
I was gonna
Bruce
say,
Brown, yeah, he's playing well. So
yeah,
they look very solid, but
yeah.
I just, if the Celtics pull off a historic comeback, I do not see them losing in the finals. They could go down 3-0 again. They could go down 2-0 again.
Good point.
I'm not
Yeah.
even like, if they can pull it off in these conference finals against the Heat, who have Owen Dust, Eric Spoelstra, he has winning DNA. He's an amazing, more experienced coach.
Best
than
coach in the NBA.
Joe. Yeah. More.
Yeah.
I don't know him, George Malone. They're. But anyway, Eric, they're good, man. But I just, if the Celtics make it out, I don't see them losing in the finals. But
fair. I respect it. I personally have put some stock into Denver. I think they're the team. But again, like you said, regardless on what team comes out of the East, it's going to be a battle. It's going to be a dogfight. And to be a Heat Nuggets series, given some of their history in the bubble, would be pretty fun. That's
earlier this year too.
And,
didn't that Marcus Morris thing, was that this year? I almost forgot about that.
I know.
I'm pretty sure he hasn't played since.
No.
But like Jimmy wanted all the smoke when that injury went down. So yeah, no, it would be a fun series to watch. It would.
I think it'll be great. I'm leaning Denver, but again, any of these teams remaining could win it, and I could obviously see a path. They're here for a reason.
Yep.
Awesome. With that point made, we will pivot. Is LeBron James contemplating retirement, Moses?
Say there's no way he pulled a fast one on us, dude. There's too much money the NBA could be making. There's no way he's done unless he pulls something that, the greatest basketball player of all time pulled. Maybe he's trying to do a little copycat, since he likes to wear, he wears 23, maybe.
Wow.
Just trying to put some things together, but
okay.
I don't know, Zay. There's no way, man. Like, it's been his whole thing to play with his son, bro. He wants to play with Bronny. Bronny's now going to USC. He's one and done, obviously. He's got tutors for his grades. He's chilling. So he'll be one and done. He's 1 year away. You're telling me to come 1 year short, you get swept, you lace him up, man. I don't know, dude. You tie him up for it. So what do you think about that?
I think there's two options here. One, that he's serious, and he really does mean it. And he's played 20 years. Him winning one more title, I'm sorry, isn't going to sway anyone who doesn't already think he's the GOAT. And anyone who thinks he's the GOAT is just going to be like, oh yeah, look, here's another one. So he could be serious, and this is what I believe, he is a genius, because we went from congratulating Denver to the Lakers getting swept in a fashion. LeBron played well. He played a little old at times, and it was noticeable. But in that game 4, he did play well, and he totally flipped the narrative. Everyone is now, us, are talking about, oh, LeBron's retiring. LeBron's retirement. Not, wow, the Denver Nuggets, like, kicked the Lakers' ass.
Yeah.
And dominated them on the court.
Yeah.
So if he's going at it from a business standpoint, pretty smart. And obviously he is very, very sound and business savvy. So I could see it, but I think he's too close to playing with Bronny. I don't think he's retiring.
There's no way, dude.
No, I don't see a world where it happens. And if he does, he's gonna want
a farewell season.
Yes, rightfully so.
There's money to be made. Ticket prices are gonna be through the roof. That last game.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah. Good luck there's no shot he's done. Like he has to come back.
Yeah. I think he has to come back. I think he'd be leaving $100 million on the table if he didn't, which
Wow.
to us is generational wealth. To him,
Him,
maybe
it's
it is
chump
like
change.
yeah, it's 100 mil, but like I could be done. I will say the whole rumor about him taking a year off, you don't know Lakers fans then. If LeBron said, "Yeah, I'm going to take a year off. I'll be back the year after with Bronny." Oh, okay. In with the Lakers, it's the same as the Celtics. It's championship or bust. They don't
Yeah.
want to wait 2 years from now. They want to win now. You have
Yep.
Anthony Davis right now. You have LeBron right now. You
Yep.
and maybe this is kind of him projecting like, get me help now. Get me another superstar now, whether that's Kyrie, whether that's whoever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't see him retiring right now after this season in a sweep. There's no way that's how he.
Yeah, his career can't. Yeah, his career
Yeah,
can't end like that.
yeah.
So.
I totally agree.
Mm-hmm.
All right, moving on to our next segment in the NBA. The Phoenix Suns are looking to fill their coaching position after firing Monty Williams.
Mm-hmm.
Moses, what's your take on this?
First of all, I'm gonna start it off with I don't think Monty Williams should have been fired.
No,
I think Monty Williams is an amazing coach.
I agree.
I think the Kevin Durant trade was obviously a huge move for the Suns. That is a championship or bust type of move.
Yeah.
But you can't always expect results just because you got all-star KD type player
Yeah.
and adding that to a Booker, which it may. Oh, dude, what do you mean? They have Devin Booker, they got DeAndre, and they didn't play like a team that had those guys because
No.
Ayton wasn't playing like how he has been.
Yep.
Booker got his, but it was just the dynamic there was odd. So I
Mm-hmm.
feel like Monty should have had one more full year with the
Yes.
team, giving them a chance to
Yep.
figure it out. And if you lose next year in some fashion, then maybe he's not the right guy.
Yeah.
But that's my take on the Suns thing. As for replacements, they did choose a good time to fire him because
Yeah.
all the other teams in the NBA for some reason fired championship caliber coaches. So I think a replacement for them, for me, it would have to be Mike Budenholzer.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I just think his coaching mentality. He's won the championship. It's kind
Against
of against the Suns.
against the
Uh,
Suns. Yeah.
so I just feel like why not take him up, let him figure it out with those stars that they got, maybe get him some more role guys and run it back next year. But there's a couple good options. What are you thinking, dude, to fill their void?
Yeah, I know for a fact the one they've been linked to the most frequently is Doc Rivers.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you agree with my issue is this. Like you said, I think Monty deserved a full year. And if he didn't get it done next year and they fall in the same spot, you go, okay, we need to make a change. The coaching position is the easiest one for a team to just, okay, let's flip it in all of sports.
Yeah.
You can't always get a superstar player. They got Kevin Durant, but that's not
Mm-hmm.
always on the table. What can always flip is a head coach. I just don't really understand firing Monty Williams. I don't understand firing these coaches with championship pedigree who have
Mm-hmm.
gotten it done, who
Mm-hmm.
have done their dues and earned their respect. I find it to be pretty ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think Monty deserved a full year. They needed to fill that roster out, and Chris Paul wasn't healthy, and it's kind of up in arms about what they do next. But I don't think firing Monty was the move.
I agree. Yeah.
I think Budenholzer or Nick Nurse should be
Nick
their
Nurse
option.
would be
Yeah.
a very good option. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Nick Nurse would be great, but it seems like they want to go Doc Rivers. All I'm going to say is the jokes are sitting there if Chris Paul sticks around for Chris Paul and Doc Rivers to be leading a contender. It's going to be a bloodbath in comment sections if that's
Yeah,
the case.
if especially if they do try that out and they happen to blow a lead by some chance,
Yeah.
there would be quite the field day on socials. So
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. With that statement done, we go to our final segment of the NBA. The San Antonio Spurs have landed the first pick and in turn landed Victor Wembanyama, without a doubt. Moses, what's your take?
First of all, I'm just looking at this draft lottery, the probability. I didn't realize that the Spurs, and Houston and Detroit all had 14% to pull that first pick. So because I was out and about when the lottery was going on, so I saw it was the Spurs, I was like, the Spurs?
Yeah.
What? Like, how did they manage that? But that has to be, out of the three, that is by far the best landing spot for him. Not even the Tony Parker France connection throwback. Wemby in a Tony Parker jersey when he was a kid surfacing on socials the other day. Like Greg Popovich and
Boris
the development. I love that landing spot for them. And he said it. Obviously, players say things all the time that they don't mean Kyrie Irving. He wants to win a championship right away, he said. And out of those three teams, this team gives him the best chance to do so. I'm not saying they're going to do that, but I could see them, if they make a move or two, making the playoffs.
Yep.
Wemby he's unbelievable. Obviously, we haven't seen him in the NBA, but with his length and with the skills that we've seen in clips and whatever, he quite possibly could win series for the Spurs with the right people. And obviously that's with any player, but out of Houston, Detroit, and San Antonio was the landing spot for him. What do you got?
I totally agree. I mean, I've seen a lot of other fans like, man, San Antonio was a dynasty. People forget very quickly how good they were for decades. David Robinson, Tim Duncan, like that era, they were beating LeBron. They were beating Kawhi Leonard, all of those guys. So they spent a couple years being mediocre and then get Victor Wembanyama and set themselves up now. That is a free agent hotspot. That is going to be a place vets go, oh, okay, maybe not this year, maybe next year, a year after that, where, okay, the Spurs have some pieces. Now they fill it out with some vets. Greg Popovich is winding down his last couple seasons. Bless you. And so I think they're in a great spot. I think Wembanyama has a lot of pressure on him, and I think a lot of it is unfair. The people saying if he's not a top 10 player of all time, he's a failure. That is not true. That is not true. The people that are like, oh, if he's a Hall of Famer and he doesn't win multiple rings and multiple MVPs, his career is a failure. That's not true. And that's not fair to put on a 19-year-old kid who is going into a team that won the number 1 overall pick. They didn't trade for it. They won it.
And I also feel like I felt like Detroit and Houston were quite literally tanking for it. I feel like the Spurs, like maybe they were, maybe there was little things, maybe I just wasn't paying attention to them. I feel like they earned it because they were just playing basketball. Like I feel like Greg isn't like a tank or like he wants to win. He's a winning coach, winning like he wants to win. So I feel like I just feel like everything worked out the way it should have in my eyes. So
I totally agree. I think it's great. It was funny though in the preseason leading up to this season where they asked Greg Popovich what his expectations were this season, and he's like, "Don't bet on us winning the championship." Like, it's
Yeah.
just funny to hear that
Yeah.
from a coach who is in the convo for the greatest ever. Like,
Yeah.
for him to be that way is great. Him landing Wembanyama, that camaraderie is going to be so good for Wembanyama over the
Yeah.
course of his career. So
Yeah.
I think it's a great spot for him to land.
Yeah, man. I
Um,
agree. I
yeah,
agree. But I was thinking, we wanna jump over to the MLB
let's do it.
if you
Let's do
don't
it.
mind.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Zay, I got a little something for you
Mm-hmm.
about the MLB.
Mm-hmm.
If I was to tell you that the Baltimore Orioles were the second best team in the major leagues by standing, would you believe me?
No, I wouldn't.
Well, they are. And the team above them happens to also be in the same division, the AL East, and that is the Tampa Bay Rays.
Mm-hmm.
So the Baltimore Orioles are having quite the year, Isaiah. And
Mm-hmm.
The reason behind that, one of the reasons, obviously there's multiple reasons
Yeah.
behind team success and all that. Adley Rutschman, number 1 overall draft pick, finally, he was a rookie last year, finally having a second year, sophomore year
Mm-hmm.
breakout, just playing out of his mind. Gunnar Henderson, I
Yep.
believe he is the top prospect in baseball.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Consensus. Playing great at I believe in the infield, third or second. They switch him around. But Zay, have you ever heard of Yennier Cano?
I have not.
Yennier Cano. Well, you're not alone because he's kind of come out of nowhere this year for the Orioles. He was I was doing some research on him, and he was kind of just a throw in for a piece in a trade last year. Just like, we'll throw him in. It doesn't really. It was a four guys prospects for one established pitcher.
Yeah.
So he was just like a prospect that threw in. Isaiah, this season, he has pitched in 20 games. He has pitched 25 innings in those games. He has not allowed a walk. He has allowed 1 earned run, and he has 28 strikeouts as a relief pitcher. He has
If I could whistle, I would. If I could whistle, I would.
He is a .38.
Ridiculous.
0.3, not 1, 0.38 ERA.
Yeah.
So he is right now the best reliever in baseball, and out of nowhere, nobody knew or thought he was on he wasn't even on their opening day roster.
Dude.
So this guy has come out of nowhere and has really helped the Orioles turn their season around. But what do you think, man? I'm gonna swing it over to you.
Yeah.
Just do you think the Orioles can do some this year?
I will say this. At this point in the season, what a team has some stock to it. If a team at this point in the season is not getting it together, that it's probably it. Unless they go for the big swing. I mean, the Mariners did it last year where all of a sudden they heated up and it was like, okay, Baltimore is in full stride right now. They look really good. And I think they at least belong in a conversation, whether you pick them to win the World Series at this point and you feel that bold or not. I think they at least deserve to be in the conversation as a potential contender in the AL. And that's saying something. The AL is tough.
Yeah.
So saying that about them is legitimate. What do you feel about the Baltimore Orioles? Do you think they're contenders or pretenders?
As you said, the AL and more specifically their division is the best division in baseball. I'm not saying that as a Red Sox fan just because the Red Sox it's a fact.
You're right. I'm a
Rays,
Mariners fan. Yeah.
The Blue Jays, the Yankees, the Orioles, and the Red Sox all have a legitimate. The Red Sox, least likely, I'll admit it, but all 5 of those teams have a legitimate chance to make the playoffs. And I'd say 3 of those teams, not including the Orioles, are legitimate World Series contenders. at this point in the season, I don't think they're contenders. I think they're playing out of their minds. They're having a great season.
Yeah.
This is a huge turnaround after years of suffering and getting number 1 overall picks, and they're finally getting them out there and they're turning into something. I have them making the playoffs, and then anything can happen. It's all about who gets hot at the right time.
Yep.
So I'm gonna say maybe.
Yeah,
that is my answer.
Yeah,
but
I feel that same way where it feels a little too early to be like, yeah, they're winning it. They're the heavyweight. Can you pick them over Tampa?
There's just so many games, man.
This
season is so long. We're not even, I don't even think a quarter of the way through. Like we might be.
Yeah.
But like there's so many games.
Yeah, there's a lot of baseball left. But I think the fact that they're even in the conversation is cool. They looked good at the end of last year as well. Started to heat up. So the fact that they're carrying this over, I think does bring some stock into there being an argument like, yeah, they can get it. And maybe they're a couple pieces away, but they at least, it's a success. And if you're an Orioles fan, you got a lot to be happy about for the future of your ball club. So
their future is very bright.
Yeah.
So
yeah, lots of young prospects, lots of young players. And this is also the kind of destination now where free agents will decide, hey, why not Baltimore? Why don't I go there as a destination in my career? So I think it's great for them.
Yeah, man. I agree
with that,
with you
yeah. Now to pivot from baseball, let's talk about some hockey, some playoff hockey to be specific.
Always down for that.
We have 2 series right now that are both looking to potentially be sweeps. Moses, are both of these series going to end up in sweeps?
I'll start off in the Western Conference because the answer there is a little bit easier than the East.
Yeah.
The Western Conference, Vegas versus Dallas, will end in a sweep. And the reason being is because last night in game 3 of the series, with the Stars, their backs against the wall, needing a win in order to succumb to going down 3-0.
Yeah.
Their captain decided to I don't know what happened. It seemed like a pretty routine play.
Yeah.
But he cross-checked a guy that was already on the ground and got ejected from the game. And news today, he is suspended for 2 more games for this stupid play that nobody really knows why he did it. I've been trying to find interview. It was just boneheaded. And he is the captain of the Dallas Stars, Jamie Benn, the player that did get suspended for these games. So the Vegas Golden Knights now they're closing it out in 4. So I can guarantee that in the West. As for the East, who would have thought the Florida Panthers would be here right now? Because I sure didn't. I'm sure I'm not alone. But they are also up 3-0 on the Carolina Hurricanes. And I don't think. Sorry, here. Let me get the stats right for you. 204 teams have faced a 3-0 deficit in hockey. Only 4 of them have overcame this feat and won in 7 games. So, with that being said, I do think the Carolina Hurricanes are going to win game 4. I believe that's right now as we're recording, actually. I believe that is on right now.
It's 1-0 Panthers at the time of recording. First period. So continue.
I'm going to continue with my gut pick. I'm going to continue with my gut pick. I have the Carolina Hurricanes winning game 4 tonight and surviving.
Okay.
And then the Panthers closing it out in game 5.
Okay. So gentleman's sweep for them.
Gentleman's sweep. Because, what is going on? Miami, Florida, they are basketball, they're on fire. Hockey, they're on fire.
Football
The
looks good. I just added
football, the
Jalen
Jalen
Ramsey to
Ramsey,
your secondary.
like it is
Yep.
just there's a lot going on right now in the league, man.
Yep.
Anything can happen here
Yeah.
in these series, but yeah,
Yeah.
those are my takes on these two.
Yeah. The quick thing that I was gonna add was that Dallas is favored tomorrow in their game. And I know Florida was favored today.
Really,
Yeah. Bit of a surprise, but
Dallas is favored. I
yeah.
find that,
Slight
yeah,
favorites. Minus
okay,
125, but they are
okay,
favorites. So
okay. No, still, that's crazy to me
yeah.
considering their captain is suspended, but
Yep. Putting a lot of stock into them not being swept, but
Vegas knows something we don't.
that
So
clearly.
yeah,
Yep. Yep. Awesome. With that, we pivot to the NFL with our final point. Will the Cincinnati Bengals break the bank with T. Higgins and Joe Burrow, notably being big time free agents that are about to make quite a bit of money? Moses, it seems obvious, but is this a smart move for the Cincinnati Bengals?
I believe that T. Higgins is an amazing receiver.
Mm-hmm.
I think if Jamar Chase wasn't on the Bengals, he would be the number one. He'd be a number one on a lot of teams in the league, I think.
Yes,
I would love him to be a Patriot. That would be an awesome
of course.
pickup. But one can dream. So
Mm-hmm.
but I think this would be really smart for the Bengals to keep that core of Joe Burrow, Jamar
Yeah.
Chase, T. Higgins.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how long they got on Mixon's contract, but running
Yeah.
backs are anyway. They get cycled out like
Yeah.
newspaper. So
Yep. Yep.
I don't
And he
know,
has
man.
a history.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think it would be smart. I'm not sure about the money and how that would look and what they'd
Yeah.
have to give up, where they're gonna finagle cap space and all that. But on the outside, I would do that.
Yeah.
What about you, man?
I totally agree with you. And I think it's really interesting for the last couple of years. It's been, okay, well, the Bengals better win one because T. Higgins is going to walk. You're not going to be able to pay him. And a team's going to pay him like a wide receiver one, and you're not going to be able to match that. For the past couple years, it's been that because he's been so good as a number two. And to that point, I say, why not? When he is as productive and special as a wide receiver too, he's right up there with like the Jalen Waddles of the world, those kind of receivers for the best wide receiver two in football.
Mm-hmm.
I think you have to you pay him, and I think you keep that offensive trio intact, and you just build around it. You make sure Burrow's protected. You have a serviceable tight end. My guess is this is Mixon's last year as a Bengal, but running backs, like you said, everyone cycles through them. So that's whatever. I will say in a point that is kind of separate from this, but similar. Every single day we see a quarterback contract that happens. Man, does that Mahomes one look even better every time?
It's ridiculous.
It's and they even asked Mahomes today on the day of recording, like, you know, how do you feel about these quarterbacks coming and passing you up with money? Goes, I don't mind. I'm here to win Super Bowls. That it's that simple. And
Yeah.
I think if you're the Bengals, you are in the AFC, which a quick preview, if you've made it this far in the video, we're going to do record predictions for every team. The
Mm-hmm.
AFC is
Impossible.
it's
It,
impossible.
I've only done one division,
Yeah.
and it was AFC East, and I was mind boggled. I
It,
couldn't make it. It was so
no,
hard.
no.
I changed it like 3 times, dude.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
It's ridiculous. So I think to stay competitive, Joe Burrow has an argument as the second best quarterback in football. He belongs in that top five with ease. And he's also a quarterback that has shown that he can get it done against Mahomes. Um, you pay him. I don't think that's a big question, but I think you keep T. Higgins there and you build around that trio. And one of these years, you hope to get back to to the Super Bowl and win one. And I think
Yeah.
with time, that will be something that the Bengals will eventually do. So I think it's worth it to pay up.
All right, my man. Well, do we got anything else we want to talk about on this episode, or?
I think the end of podcast video today is "Count Me Out" by Kendrick Lamar. I feel like
I
it's
actually,
good.
actually have a song too that I wanted to
Hit.
throw in
Oh, come
for this
on,
episode. A
come
little
on,
twofer, a little
lay it on
twofer.
me.
My
Yes.
song of the day is gonna be "Had Enough" by Don Toliver, featuring
Uh,
Quavo and Offset.
I would
So
sing it, but I don't want a copyright
no
strike. But
copyright
great
strikes.
song,
Yep.
great
Thank
song.
you. Thank you,
That's
sir.
also a fun fact. It's a Jay-Z and Beyonce sample
Ooh.
on I think the Carter. It's their joint album. It's the first song on that album. So if it, hey,
Boss, maybe. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, we're out
Okay.
here. We're here blessing the people. We just gave them 3 songs, so you
For
better,
free. For
hey,
free. So
for free. Listen,
if you stuck around, let us know which of your
let
the
us
three is your
know,
favorite.
man. Let
Let
us
us know
know.
which of the three is your
Yeah,
favorite.
hey, listen, and at some point we're gonna get people skipping to the end of our videos just to hear about
Just
this.
for the
Okay,
music dance.
like
We might have to make a music channel
y-
just for because
just
people are only gonna
yeah.
listen to the music section.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, cool. What do you think about the NBA playoffs? Skip. We want to
Yep.
get right to the juice.
And
Right to the
the
juice.
best
So,
part of the podcast.
of
So
course. So we'll lay it on them. But yeah, great podcast. Thank you
great
all
app.
for sticking around. We hope this is also a nice insight as to what you can expect through a lot of videos of getting around robin of every big sports related headline.
Yep.
We want to cover it all. Obviously, NBA is pretty dominant because they're in the playoffs, and hockey will be talked about more, but they're both nearing sweeps. So
for sure. Yeah, no, we'll be jumping around, but yeah,
yeah.
expect episodes like this next week.
Yep.
As they hinted at, we will be doing NFL records, so look out for that. And yeah, we're excited for what's to come. So
great. I am Isaiah.
I'm Moses.
Thank you all for sticking around for the Flagrant Talk Sports Podcast. Have a great rest of your day.
Later, everyone. See ya.